collaborate with universities and research institutions. He also fostered continuous innovation at the branch. Presently, he is the Chief Architect and R&D Manager at National Instruments, Bangalore. He holds 39 patents and is a senior member of IEEE Program Committee. His interest lies in strategies for innovation, product development for developing countries, and marathon running. Now I welcome you, sir, Mr. Dinesh Nair, to share his experiences and values. Welcome, sir.
All right, thanks for the introduction. It's been a while since I've run a marathon. So today I'm going to talk about it's going to be a slightly different presentation because it's not very focused on biomedical engineering, but it's the basic theme of the talk is how to take an idea and make it into a product. What goes into that, and then what you should be looking out for when you do this, right? So basically, idea to product, and looking at how you could do it using a graphical system design technique. Is it? Can you hear me all the back? No. Is this better? Okay. So what I'm going to cover today is basically kind of just revisit the idea of what is innovation. Can you hear me now? That's okay. Yeah, I'll continue. Okay. Can you hear me through this? Okay, for now that's fine. Let's just continue. So I want to talk about innovation, different types of innovation, and then look at, what is the idea of a technology platform and how that will help for innovating and going from idea to product. And then finally, I want to look at one case study from a research center just down the road here in Chennai, that will bring everything together. So when we talk about innovation, really, this word is being thrown around a lot, and everybody talks about, hey, I need to do innovation, I need to build innovative products. But really what innovation about, at least in my mind, is, you have a problem you want to solve, right? You come up with an idea, you have a solution, and then you put all of this together, but finally build something that helps a lot of people. So until you have some benefit for the masses and you really help a lot of people, I would not call that as an innovative product or innovation, right? So the key is to how do you take your idea and build it into a product and get it out to people so they get benefit from it. So in India especially, we have a great amount of opportunity, especially in life sciences and biomedical, to be innovative and come up with innovative products, because there is a big need for affordable, low cost, accessible, so that the ability to take things out to the rural villages and help people in the villages, and impactful medical devices or medical things to help improve the health of people, common people who can't really afford healthcare. So in this area, I think technology can play a big role in. Can we go on this one? A big role in helping and creating products that can be used to improve the lives of people. And I think that's where you guys can come and play a big role in the future, where think about all these devices that you can be building to solve some problems that help improve the lives of people. So there are different ways of innovation. When you talk about innovation, it really depends on where you are in the product cycle. So this is a graph from a person called Jeffrey Moore, and this talks about a product in its lifetime. So on the left hand side, is when you're just starting out the product, and then the y-axis is showing you how many people use that product over time, right? So when you start off a product, which is right on the left hand side, it's something you've just created new, right? So that nobody has heard about this product. Let's say you're coming up with a very low cost ultrasound device, which kind of looks like an ultrasound device, but you're not sure if it's really good. There'll always be some people who are ready to adopt it. Maybe someone who's always interested in new technology, which I call the technology enthusiast. There may be some visionaries who see the product or the technology you're working on, and they say, hey, I think this is a good idea, I think we can make use of this in the future, right? But then there's this big gap between when you come up with an idea and you're able to get to the mainstream where a lot more people start using it. And that's called the chasm or the gap, right? And the question is, how do we cross that chasm where you can take an idea and move to the mainstream, where a lot more people will use it? So that, the innovation that you do at that point, where you try to break into the mainstream, is called product innovation. And I'll go into that a little more. And that's where you need to come up with breakthrough innovation, some new ideas never been tried and tested before. Maybe it's just reducing the cost of a healthcare device. That's also product innovation. That's the challenge. And then there are different types of innovation. When once you actually have a product, you have to continuously keep improving it. At some point the product is going to get old, so you have to renew what the product does, etc. Those are the other kinds of innovations. But main thing that at least for you to think about is product innovation, where how do I take a new idea, cross the chasm so that more and more people can. So one of the things to keep in mind is when we talk about breakthrough innovation or this product innovation, is not something that just comes from bottom up, where you can't just be sitting somewhere and say, hey, I have this idea. Usually it's driven through some challenges or some concerted effort to come up and solve a big problem. So leaders, so like in university professors or the government or industry leaders need to figure out what are the main problems that the country is facing and come up with challenges that we can solve. The students, as a community, we can actually go and solve using technology. So this is known as what we call as a challenge-driven innovation process. So you have a problem defined, and you're now trying to find a solution and come up with a product that you can use to serve the people, right? So basically what you're doing is you have problem definition, that is basically what the challenge is. Then you go through this kind of cycle where you come up with a prototype, or you solve it. I know this algorithm that's going to work well to solve this problem. I come up with a prototype, I test it, you see some problems, you just improve it, and you go through the cycle, maybe do some field validation over time, and then finally you go into the solution, where after a lot of validation and a lot of trials in the field, you've come up with a solution that can be used for a lot of people, right? So this is kind of a challenge-driven innovation. So there are three main parts to this. One is defining the problem. The middle part is the whole experimentation, prototyping, trying it out, taking it out of the field, making sure it's working correctly, and then finally where a lot of people can use it, like mass deployment. So let's look at these three parts in sections. So the first thing is, how do we define challenge areas, right? And this, I think, is actually one of the easiest parts of the problem, because right now, if you look in different areas, like in the US, for example, they define these. So like in the US, for example, they define these grand challenges. These are some of the biggest challenges the human race faces right now, like life sciences or fusion or energy or improving our infrastructure. So these are already defined problems where people, like leaders and thought visionaries have sat together and said, hey, these are the problems that humans are going to face in the future. Like for example, okay. So some of the things that currently we are trying to do in the US and in different parts of Europe is, how do we make better medicine? So that's a new challenge that we're looking at, right? How do we I'm having trouble. I'll just use this pen. It's fine. So how do we make better medicine? Or like another big challenge area is, how do we create new energy sources, like using fusion, right? These are all active research projects going on, and there are no real solutions to this right now. And it's very easy to